The recent NAR settlement is big, and it has many people questioning the future of real estate agency. I'm a real estate attorney, and these are my initial thoughts about what the changes actually are and what they mean to those that are involved in real estate transactions.
A major decision today could change the way you buy or sell your next home.
A lawsuit settlement by the National Association of Realtors is getting rid of the standard 6% commission for realtors.
What's that mean?
So let me just give a background here. So this was a case that was filed in Missouri federal court in 2019. The class was certified in 2022. That would have been any person who had sold a home in the preceding 4 years using one of the 4 multiple listing services that were named in that lawsuit. Now, you might be wondering, well, what were these people suing over? It's about the cooperative compensation. So in the MLS, presently, you can list what compensation is being offered to the buyer's agent. And these sellers that became the plaintiffs were saying that was unfair because why should I have to pay the buyer's agent if we, say I don't want to? If we're not offering any compensation, they were suggesting that buyer's agents wouldn't show their properties because they wouldn't be getting paid by the seller. Now, whether these things are true or not, at this point, it doesn't matter.
It is a question that sellers or people that have been buying or selling houses have asked. It's just the answer's always been like, oh, well, that's how it's done.
Yes, and one of the biggest counter arguments is that compensation has always been negotiable. And that's true, but what the plaintiffs were arguing is that we didn't know that these agents are supposed to be in a fiduciary role to us, and if that was true, why didn't we know? This proposed settlement, if it's approved by the court, is going to take away that offer of compensation in the MLS entirely. So yeah, there's some big changes coming up.
So the fallout from the seller's agents, what's the change, or what can you see how that's going to affect them?
You're asking what the implications are for sellers agents?
Yes.
Reduced commissions because the sellers are going to more aggressively negotiate compensation. Okay. I also think it may make it harder to get homes sold because a buyer who now, up until now, it's been a great selling feature to say, buyers, why would you not use a real estate agent? They help you with so many things and you don't even have to pay them. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not the standard in this new world. It's possible that you could negotiate for that, but it is not going to be just your, wake up, get a real estate agent, you don't have to pay them. So there may be buyers that are reluctant because they've already had a hard enough time saving up for a down payment, or maybe they don't qualify if they have to spend any more money in closing costs, any of those things, that will be reluctant to get into an agreement with the buyer's agent that they have to pay.
I also think it's going to be a lot more challenging on sellers agents because I feel like you're going to have a lot more uninformed buyers.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be blowing them up. And, having to schedule the showings without an agent involved. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for everybody. And
what do you think the repercussion is going to be for buyers?
I think that lack of education is going to be the issue here. So if buyers don't understand all that a buyer's agent does for them, then they're going to be reluctant to spend money on it for what is already a very important purchase. And it will take buyers going through significant pain of trying to find vendors, trying to figure out, is this house even worth, comps, all of that stuff. What do I offer? Who do I get to inspect it? So that's a big learning curve for buyers. So I think it's going to be really important to do a lot of education so that buyers understand all that a buyer's agent does for them and why it's worth spending the money if it cannot be negotiated for the seller to pay.
And then on the other side of it, it could be that they don't qualify for quite as much because they are having to pay fees out of their own pocket rather than the sellers paying those fees previously.
It's possible. Yeah, that's probably more of a mortgage lender question, but yeah, I could see that being an issue.
From these agents' perspective, what are the now new choices, I guess, and what are 3 options that they can do, or 3 things that could happen, I guess, is a better question.
One would be you can still offer compensation to the buyer, but not on MLS. So that's, just part of the negotiation. Again, you don't know. The seller doesn't have to say yes. It's not a slam dunk, but it can still be negotiated for that the seller will pay the buyer's agent. The other thing is the ability to list concessions to the buyer is not being taken away. So if you're saying that you're going to pay part of the buyer's closing costs and part of the buyer's closing costs includes commissions, then the part that could go towards the commissions as well. And then really on the buyer's agent side, probably looking at some alternative models to make sure that you get paid. And that could be, this is all speculative at this point. It's so new. We're going to see a lot of innovators rise and give good ideas, and it'll get better over time. But I could see a world where a buyer's agent gets into a limited scope agreement, says, I will show you up to 10 properties over the course of 1 month or whatever. This is all just speculative, for a compensation of X dollars if you close one of those. If we extend beyond that, then my compensation goes up.
I was going to say, I think you're going to see a new business of transaction coordinator pop up,
but
pretty
independent
frequently.
of an agent
independent
that a buyer is
transaction.
paying for.
Yes, correct. For me, my 2 cents on this is, if you are a real estate agent, take this video, click that little share button, and also the subscribe button, and share this with somebody in the real estate industry, because these are just facts. And then what we think because of the facts. I think the people that have been putting their information out as far as what they think is going to happen, maybe might not be actual lawyers and know how to dissect legal documents. And so they're just putting out a lot of emotions, and it might not actually be the facts. So
there's definitely, I've already seen some misinformation that like that's not, based on what's been released about the settlement, is not consistent.
And as soon as the settlement's been made public, we'll do another one of these and take a deep dive, because old nerd Tiff over here is going to read every single page of it. And that's going to be her nightly reading, and she's going to love it, because that's what she likes to do. Go sell some houses and we'll all be excited.